Good evening, everyone, or no one at the moment. Put the link for anybody who wants to join the panel. Saturday night live RC talk. Everybody's had a great week so far. Good evening, JM. Thanks for joining. Good evening, Green Frog. How's it going? Kevin Gibbs, how you doing? I believe that Gabe will be joining us in a little bit. One of the topics we're going to discuss tonight is what's the first thing you change out on the RC when you purchase a new RC? He did a poll on his community page this week, about a week ago. Motor, ESC, remote, receiver, scale accessories, wheels, tires. Change out the servo. I know me, it's the servo. Talking about RC Basher Boy. He should be joining. Yeah, servo is pretty much my first thing that I swap out on mine, almost always. Then maybe a motor or ESC. Seems like ESC is one of the later ones for me. And so is the receiver and remote. Those always seem to be last for me as well. Let's see here. I'm trying to actually find. Anybody got anything new this week? New toys, new RCs, or? Hey, Brian, how's it going? Brian, have you got any work done on that Predator? I haven't purchased anything new. I actually sold my 124 scale. Hey, Tank, welcome. Sold my 124 scale C10 this past week. And then couldn't get into those and had somebody that wanted to buy it. Kevin says, I only upgrade as if it breaks or as it breaks. It's something I don't have or specific build in mind. I guess I'm that way to a certain extent. You move the chassis around the shop for a few different pictures. Nice, Ryan. I'm ready to see you get that thing built. For mine, I tend to leave them alone. I guess sort of like Kevin, until I find a weak link. And for mine, I tend to have a weak link and replace it. Sort of like Kevin, so I find a weak link. And for mine, I tend to
I need feeding.
Replace it. Sort of like Kevin,
that too.
So I find a weak link. Hey, B, if you can mute that.
Yeah, mute my thing.
we go. Altered RC, yeah, I'm not too into those 124 scales. Just couldn't do it. But yeah, when I get a new RC, I pretty much take it out of the box and see what it's like. And so far, I haven't had a ready to run RC yet that I was happy with the servo. So it's always the servo that I replace first, and then move from there. So I know my latest ready to run being my the last two being Axial 6x6, and then the Trail Walker. Trail Walker got a servo, then got a motor, but it needs an ESC. And then the 6x6 has nothing done to it yet, but it desperately needs a servo because it's weak. KB, I like that picture there.
Good yeah, point, I just Kevin. Muted my mic.
Gotcha. Good point there, Kevin. And yeah, Team Sergeant, agree. That's one of the few rigs that has a great servo stock. Getting burnt out on the drag racing stuff, huh? So I know you sent me a picture of some new crawling area or new crawling space near you, so that'd be good. Green Frog's asking, is that a hybrid kangaroo? KB.
No, it's Duck Man. He's half man, half duck. He's a mad scientist.
Okay. All right. Good. I don't think I've seen that one personally.
Oh, yeah, he's on my channel.
Okay.
And that's Beanfield next to him.
Gotcha. Anything new for you this week?
Oh, did the camera. Just got that a couple of days ago.
Nice.
Had to go through. Yeah, I had to go through Geek Squad and all that stuff to get it hooked up, but it's hooked up.
Okay, very good. What about you? When you get a new RC, what's the first thing you tend to upgrade?
Servo.
Servo?
Yeah, I only got 2 RCs, but it's like, that's the first things that went out on me. It's a servo. So that's the first thing upgrade. Then the transmission, metal transmission gears.
Looks like Jar Jar Binks' stepbrother. Yeah, I can sort of see that. I agree with that. Yeah, I hadn't honestly hadn't touched my RCs this week except for packing up my 124 scale and met the guy that purchased it and passed it off. I hadn't done anything RC related this week.
There's Dino Goat. He's half dinosaur and half goat. He changes. And there's Beanfield's dog Maggie. She morphs into all kinds of different stuff too.
Team Sergeant said that he has a really bad tire fetish. I don't know if we need to be talking about fetishes.
Yeah, I did all mine. I got new tires on all my stuff too. Eventually, it seemed they do a lot better than the stock tires.
Kevin says he has a crazy purchase. He bought the whole Johnny Quest set that he found for his Landover crew.
Johnny Quest is pretty cool. Watched a lot of that.
Team Sergeant said he's ordered an RTR and has a set of tires ordered to swap. So what RTR, John? What'd you order? If he shares. Supposed to go crawling tomorrow, but not gonna make it. Rift. You order
I'm going
another
mudding tomorrow.
You just got that. You're going mudding tomorrow?
Oh yeah, you're supposed to get a lot of rain.
Good evening, sir. How's it going, JM?
Not too bad. How you guys doing today?
Doing pretty good, thank you.
Hey JM.
Howdy, howdy, howdy. How you doing?
All right.
So the question tonight is, what's the first thing you upgrade on an RC when you purchase a new RC?
All depends on what the RC is.
Okay. Crawler.
Crawler?
Yeah. What's the first thing you upgrade?
Immediately the servo.
A Basher?
No questions asked. It's that, and depending on the controller, it might be a receiver.
Okay. So if it's a Basher, what's the first thing you upgrade?
The first thing that breaks.
I like that.
Yeah.
And then it depends if there is an upgrade for it, and if you can get it. Then if you can't get it, hence the LMT, you go back and get a standard axle that you can find.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's pretty much how I feel. Servo is always the first thing I upgrade. I mean, there's only like one or two, I think, RCs ready to runs that come out with a decent servo, and that's the Gen 8 Axe with a pretty good servo, and then you can't even think of another crawler that has a good servo.
I stripped the gears in the Savic servo.
Okay, that takes that. Not that I'm saying that takes talent.
Yeah.
I've done the same, but yeah, of course, that was a 30-mile-an-hour hit into a wall when I was racing with somebody pushing me. But yeah,
I just got stuck between a rock and a hard place, I guess, and it just didn't like it.
Yeah, anything to break eventually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. When I stripped my plastic gears on the transmission, it was way out in the middle of the rocks, and I wasn't going to walk out there. And all of a sudden, it's I'm like, what in the heck? Why ain't my car moving? I had to walk out there and get it. Damn transmission gears.
So Team Sergeant say ordered another RTR Red Traxxas Sport and ordered a set of 1.9 flat irons XLs, some 1.9 rims. Nice. Another TRX. If you don't follow Team Sergeant RC, I met him at USTE. Him and his boys. We had a great time. Spent most of the time at USTE together. Him and Brent with Adventure Time. We did a lot of crawling, had a lot of fun. But they got an RC channel also. That they've been putting out a lot of videos the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's starting to get about that time of year where everybody.
Yeah. Kevin says he tries to make his entire driveline metal on my crawlers. Yeah, I don't. That's one thing I don't. Unless I have to, I don't do it.
I haven't had any problems with the plastic drive shafts on my crawler. Everything else is metal. All the drive line is.
Agree, Kevin. The sports are definitely a good proven rig. Oh, cute cats. I love cats.
Oh yeah. He's
Good evening, Gabe.
he's pay attention to me, or otherwise I'm going to be clawing at you and biting at you and everything. So I guess I give him some loving until he decides he wants to go do his things.
And my cat Ralph, she bites too real bad.
Well, he doesn't bite. He just kind of puts his mouth
love
on
bites.
Makes just exactly.
Yeah.
I miss having a cat. I haven't had a cat in a long time. At one time when I was a kid, probably about 9, 8, 9, we had almost 30 cats.
Mm-hmm.
I just scared the crap out of my cat the other day. I got this monkey-like statue in my bedroom. She was stalking around it, looking at it, and I went, psst, she jumped way up in the air. That's what you get, cat.
So, Gabe, I'm curious. I know you messaged me about your question that that you put up last week, and the first thing that you upgrade on a rig. So we've already been talking about that. So, Gabe, what's the first thing you upgrade?
You gonna let me do some work tonight, or you gonna be a complete pain in my butt?
I wish I could have a cat. I'm not allowed to.
Yeah, I got 2 cats and 2 dogs, and one dog I love, and the other dog is a pain right in the butt because he's still a puppy.
No, Green Frog, most of those cats were outside, so didn't really have to worry about kitty litter too much. We only had probably 5 or 6 that came in. So Gabe says the first thing he upgrades is receiver and battery plug. You know,
Oh yeah, I didn't think about the battery plug.
I didn't either. I don't necessarily consider it an upgrade, but I think his point's very valid because, I mean, even though it seems like more frequently now rigs are coming with, I like Deans personally, and it seems like a lot of them are coming with Deans, but now, of course, now some are even coming with other plugs. So it never fails. I either get adapters to adapt over or swap them out. But I don't necessarily consider it an upgrade, but I guess in a way it is really.
Yeah.
I was trying to get an adapter today from the hobby shop, and it's like they don't even have any Traxxas adapters. I needed a male Deans to a Traxxas. And it's like, girl at the hobby shop has to solder me one up for me.
I order that stuff off Amazon typically.
Yeah.
I order those adapters. Yeah.
So I got a question so a 3,000 milliamp battery, no matter if it's a 7.4 or an 8.4, it runs just the same amount of time, right?
It's just a higher discharge.
Right. Okay. So it'll still run the same amount because it's the same milliamps.
Yes and no.
Yeah,
some of the higher milliamps because of the C rating, it will burn the battery off a little bit quicker. But yeah,
Well,
if you're not hammer down and hammer on it the whole time, then yeah.
So like I got a 3,000 milliamp 7.4 volt and a 3000 milliamp 8.4 volt, they'll just run about the same time because they're just 3000 milliamps, right? Basically about the same.
Yeah, like I said, it all depends on how hard you're running it.
Yeah. Well, it's
You
for the
know?
crawler. I'm putting the 8.4 in there now. I don't use
Oh
LiPo.
yeah, a crawler.
So you're switching to LiPo? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm still old school. I'm just going to put the 8.4 volt in because it's like a two cell LiPo. I heard.
You get so much more crawl time out of a LiPo, though.
Yeah, I can get almost 2 hours out of my 4600, and I just carry an extra battery.
Yeah, heck, I went crawling last week. I still gotta edit the video, but heck, I had an 8,000 milliamp battery in it, 100C. It's a 2S, and it ran the whole time. You know, a couple of 3 hours were out.
See you later, Team Sergeant. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I USTE. Well, depending on what rig I was running, like Friday, I ran my Trail Walker, and I have to use a smaller battery in it. So I ran two 3S 2200 milliamps. I think we ran two trails that day, I think. So I ran those two batteries for it. I had to switch. A 6x6, I have a specific battery for it, which is a 3500 3S, and I ran it on that battery the whole time. And then my Gen 8, I don't remember if I had to swap the battery on it or not, but I think I had I ran the Gen 8 most of the day that day. I think I swapped once from and that was a 3S 2200 as well. So I like my runtime on my LiPos for the most part. I know the year before I went down there with like a 5200 milliamp, and I ran all day. All day I could run on one pack, no problems. Come and take it. 570 says 5200 milliamp 3S. He runs for 3.5 hours in his backyard almost every day, and yeah, sounds about right. What I've seen. My 2200 3S. I know I've gotten at our local crawl spot. I get about an hour, typically of crawl time. I have I have 4 1500 3Ss for competition, and I can actually run one of those and run all 4 stages with 25 gates per stage. And you figure anywhere from 5 minutes to 10 minutes per stage to run it. This last time at our winter series, I think the one stage had 50 gates. I ran 1500 in each rig for all 4 stages. So,
them are time gates, right? They time you through the gates.
Yeah, the way we do it, yes. So you have typically 10 minutes to do 25 gates. So the way it's run here is, the quicker your time, we use stopwatches. The quicker your time, potentially the better you're going to do, but each gate it ends up adding time to your time. So.
How many feet are the gates? 15 feet or 20 feet or?
A gate is, depending on class 1, what is it? 11 inches, I think, is what it's supposed to be. Class 2, somewhere around
Oh,
12 inches apart. And then
okay.
class 3 is like 13, I think. I might be
Okay.
off the inch there, but
I'm like, if it's like, a football field between each other, that's a lot of run. You got in 10
so
minutes, man, you're going
so
to be having
so
fun.
so so let me re-answer your question then, because I was looking at it differently. So I was talking about the space between each the gate, like width wise,
Oh,
but
okay.
the
No, I'm
space,
talking about the lengthwise.
um, yeah, the distance between gates. I mean, it varies. Sometimes you're gate after gate after gate, and then sometimes you might go 5, 10, 15 feet before you hit a next gate. It just
Okay.
depends. Like I think it was stage 4 for us. They were much more spread out. You could actually go for 30 feet before you'd hit a gate, which lets you, in those instances, you're running fast, like you're full throttling it, and almost speed walking behind your rig to
Yeah,
make up any
10
time,
minutes.
um, type thing. So, in the pro class, which I'm not in, thankfully, the pro class guys like Exocage RC, he competes there in the pro class. Like he literally will run sometimes between those gates. I mean, they're all about the time.
Yeah.
But every area does scoring and all that different. Like True Sorka, it's timed, but it's not time by time. It's like you have however long to finish it, but it doesn't matter if you finished it in 1 minute versus finished it in 5 minutes. Long as you finished it within the allotted time, you know, it's
And
fine.
that's,
And
I guess you get like points if you back up and stuff like that. You don't, right?
yeah, in True Sorka, we don't do that. Like you can back up in ours. It's not
Yeah.
um Kevin Gibbs. Depending on whether the gate got cut any the night before. Oh, that's sad. But I used to, and AZ Froggy's saying he runs at least 4,000 milliamp 2S's in it. Crawlers last as long as he needs it to, and those will last extremely long. Like 4,000 milliamps, plenty, probably for most instances. I just like the punch of the 3S personally. And I got my big milliamp 4S's for my Traxxas Max. I think I got one that's a 58 or something like that, and two more that are 7200s or something like that milliamps. Those actually run a while.
Yeah, I can't get too long on my Stampede, maybe 12 minutes on my 5,000 nickel metal hydride. But my wife don't want me to run lipo, so
There's definitely, hazards you got to be mindful of, but
yeah.
they, knock on wood, I hadn't had any issues with any, and yeah, like I said, I like the performance of them. So what you working on, JM? You're muted.
Yeah, he's muted.
I'm working on Ray Kelman's Hornet body.
Ah,
Doing a little extra work to it, even though I know he will never need any of it done. I'm just reinforcing a couple spots with shoe goo and drywall tape.
yeah. I need to get a new body for my Max and do the same. Actually, I need to experiment with the drywall tape on my beat up Max body and see what I can do with it.
That stuff works pretty good. I got it all over my Stampede body, the Dune buggy. It doesn't go good with that Flex Seal stuff, the Shugu, I mean the E6000 and the Flex Seal do not
Mhm.
mix, man. It's terrible.
I haven't had problem with it. Now I use drywall mesh and Shugu.
Easy Froggy says, great time to work on it when he isn't around.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, Shugu and the drywall tape work real good, but with that other plastic, what's that stuff called? I forgot. You spray it on there, it holds leaks and stuff.
Yeah, the Flex Seal.
Flex
Yeah,
Seal.
Flex Seal doesn't work. They do not work good together. Get that black stuff all over it, turns the Shugu all black, and I think that maybe the glue might be too hot for it.
Got any racing, JM?
Racing last night.
Oh yeah, how'd you do?
I did terrible, but at least I had a blast doing it
That's all that matters, right there.
and made all kinds of videos. Matter of fact, I shot out 3 shorts in the last 24 hours from there.
Nice. Did you break anything?
No, believe it or not, I broke other people instead.
Hey, you had fun. You didn't break any of your rigs. I mean, that's a good night, right?
It's called Redemption Week.
Nice. Very nice.
But I always feel bad when I slam into somebody and put them into the wall and break them.
Yeah.
Whether they put me in the wall previously or not. Sometimes I'll go over and go, I'm sorry about that, and walk away. Other times I'll give them the part to fix it. All depends on who it is.
So when I was at USTE and had met up with Brent Venture Time RC on the last day, I was getting ready for the Basher Parks. I'd pulled my Max out. And, he pulled out his one of his Tamayas. I forgot which one it is, and I should remember. I know he did a video on it, but it's a vintage one. So he pulled it out, and we were sort of drag racing. So I know he's got a video of us drag racing. And on one of the runs back, I was coming from behind, and I actually ran over the side of the buggy, and he pulls up. He's like, "Oh, it's all good. It's fine." So a few minutes later, we decide to switch. I let him drive the Max, and he lets me drive the buggy. And I get a pass out of it, and come back and notice the shock is hanging off, And so I felt bad, and I feel like it was probably my Max that probably did it when I hit it. We just didn't realize it at the time. But he's like, "Oh, it's just a screw. It'll be fine." But I felt bad because I'm like, "Hey, that's a vintage Tamiya there that I just technically broke." Welcome, Frog.
It's hilarious. I've brought the Felony out on the track with all various models of race cars, and people were apologizing because they were hitting into me, and I'm looking at them going, I'm just happy and glad I didn't bust you in half.
Right. Hey, Brian, welcome. Hey. Yeah, I still got to put my video together for me and Brent's drag race. I got video of it too, but I hadn't edited it yet. I'm behind on my videos from USTE. I had to take a break.
Did you fill your phone up?
No. My phone has plenty of storage now. My computer right now, because I downloaded everything from my GoPro to my computer, and I about filled it up. So I'm trying to get through the editing so I can get rid of some of that footage. But I still got a ton of editing to do. so far behind on it, but I'm working on it every day now.
It's been nice seeing lots of videos coming out of there.
Oh yeah, it was such a great experience. I mean, being my second year, my first year was awesome. Second year was better, and I'm looking forward to next year already.
Nice.
Hopefully, Brian's going to be there next year.
I hope so too.
Better. Yeah, next weekend I'm going out to Exocage's place, and I think we're doing something with some veterans out there, I believe.
Nice.
With 11 Charlie.
Looks like Basher Boy's power went out. He's waiting for
Yep.
the lights to come back on.
I didn't realize. Oh, hit the wrong button here. I didn't realize KB had dropped out. Brian, what's the first thing you upgrade?
On
On
a
the
crawler. On the crawler, the first thing I did was the servo. On a basher, I mean, I've never had a brand new basher. Everything's always been used, so I've had to go through it. But I do buy a lot of bearing kits, it seems like.
Stop trying to charge all your batteries at once, Gabe. Green Frog, what about you? What do you upgrade first in yours?
To play off of his bearing comment, I have a Tamiya hauler, and first thing I upgraded was the bushings to bearings. And crawler, yeah, probably if the servo's weak, I'd change it out to a stronger servo.
That's me as well. Same thing. And like JM said, bashers, well, whatever breaks first gets upgraded.
Right? Yeah. There's no. I have my first car was a Slash, and I put a little too much like aluminum shock towers on it and aluminum bulkhead, and I didn't do aluminum arms or anything because I knew they would bend. But I don't think I went way too far overboard. You don't need to replace every part on the thing, you know. Just whatever, like you're saying, whatever breaks, you're better off. You can end up buying twice as many RCs that way.
You turn a $300-400 RC into a $1,000 RC in a matter of minutes.
Right.
Right. Exactly.
That's a picture of my old truck.
Nice.
Nice old Ford. I like the old Ford trucks. I like that.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't have an easy access, but I won a late 70s Proline, or no, maybe J Concepts Ford F-250 body at our last event, our winter series.
Is that the one with the double cab?
Trying to remember if it's double cabbed or not. I don't think it's double cabbed.
Okay.
But I'm actually going to give that to 11 Charlie for them to put with one of the rigs that they give to a veteran.
Nice.
So KB, Basher Boy wants to know if you got the year right. He said 77 on that truck. Is that right?
I think it was, I had it a long time ago. I think it was in the 70s. I forgot what year it was. I'm
Looks a
terrible.
little
man.
older than 79.
That's my Cadillac. I painted flames on it.
Nice.
Flames
Black
on a
flames.
Cadillac. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I got to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of looks like flames growing out of a bra. You know, those bras they used to put on everything.
Yep.
I agree. I had one of those bras on my very first car, an '89 Chevy Cavalier, and after an owl ran into the side of my front bumper, it started ripping, and on one side it sort of looked like that.
Right. All tattered.
Yeah.
It was fun. My flame era. I put flames on everything.
I like flames. Just don't know on the
On a
Cadillac.
TV.
That's different. Be good for a man cave though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our Steve Asher boy says Elvis Hollywood style. I do like some good flames. I do like some flames though. I don't know if I have an easy picture to get to. Me and my dad had a car
That flames.
that we built. Well, it didn't have full flames, but it had it actually had airbrush work that was done on the hood, and it had the Grim Reaper on the hood with two sickles in his hands. And at the top where his shoulders were, it looked like, well, actually below him, it looked like flames coming up, and then it sort of blended in to his shoulders, basically. And I had the 7 Riders of the Apocalypse on one shoulder. See if I can find, see if I've got any pictures.
I just got some pictures out because I got the cameras. So.
There we go.
I had this on my Oldsmobile, my Oldsmobile Cutlass on the trunk. I did that with model paint when it was like 10 cents a can, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me, I've got here, this is,
Oh, wow.
that was the hood.
Cool. Did you do that?
No.
Man.
I ain't got that talent. But believe it or not, that was on a Chevy Cavalier.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Them
are real flames.
Can't see it, but is right here on the shoulder. Actually, I think you can barely see maybe the horse right there, but the 7 Riders of the Apocalypse there, and then on each side of the car going down, there was a pinstripe, and the pinstripe just past the door turns into a sickle. It goes from this colors that are on the screen there, that orange and red of the flames. It sort of starts as I think orange, it goes to red, and then it goes to brown of the staff of the sickle. And then on the trunk there was just a skull head, and where the key for the trunk was, he was holding, like it was right over the keyhole. He was holding a key basically.
That's cool.
Yeah, we took it to sort of a family friend that does motorcycles, a bunch of motorcycle stuff, and the car was nicknamed the Grim Reaper. We took it to him, and it had vinyl graphics on it that was all done like that. And we said, hey, we want, airbrush. We want it to be this, go with it. And he called us one day, and he's like, come by. He did the hood in 8 hours. Took him 8 hours to do the hood by hands, and came by, and they blew us away.
Guess you don't want to be superstitious driving that car.
No, well, I can be a little superstitious. And that car, so we bought that car from a guy. I drove to Michigan 16 hours one way to pick up that car. The guy built it with the vinyl graphics, and it was turbocharged. It was a very popular car when it came to Cavaliers at that time. We bought it. I brought it back to Florida. Me and my dad, fixed the motor because there was issues with it. We ended up having it repainted, had the airbrush work done. We won a couple shows with it, but there was always issues. Like eventually the motor ended up giving us problems again. I ended up selling the car to somebody here in Florida who bought it, redid the motor like better than it had ever been done, did a bunch of stuff. And there was still issues, like just weird issues with the motors. Like you couldn't keep the crank, you couldn't keep flywheel bolts in it. At one time they had been welded to the flex plate because it was an automatic, because they would back out. Didn't matter what you did. And the guy that took it over made it a 5-speed, and still he's tracking the car, and the bolts start backing out again. It's like, I don't know. That car actually no longer exists. It ended up, he's parted it out. My dad has the hood. My dad bought the hood, and I bought the trunk from it.
Yeah.
Because there was, there's some definitely sentimental value for me and my dad there. So So we've got those two pieces off of it, but the car itself got scrapped. So he gave me the option to buy it back, and I said, nah. There was a lot of things that happened during my time in having that car. A lot of things I went through a divorce and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, AZ is saying Buick had some real good factory hot rods like the Grand Nationals, GSX, and others. I agree. Gabe's saying, speaking of vehicles, Buick brand in my book will go down in history as targeting the old people. No offense, but I guess I'll never see myself driving one. There's a few Buicks I would drive, honestly.
Here's my other ride I had a dune buggy, man. It was street legal. To drive
would
that
be
all
fun.
over the place. It was fun. You only go 65 miles an hour, but man, it was fun getting there.
Was it an air cooled motor?
Yeah, it was Volkswagen 1600.
Explains the 65 miles an hour.
Exactly. They would be
Pull
so
on
fun.
35, man, fourth gear, punched 65 miles an hour, pull in front of a trailer truck. Woo-hoo.
Yeah.
I had two big 100 whip antennas on there with skull and crossbone flags on it. Yeah. I let my wife drive the red truck, and I drove that back and forth to work.
So let's see. I just found one. I just found one more picture of that car. I'll share real quick. I can find what I did with it. Ooh, well, I don't know what's going on there. Stop that.
Right? If you have seizures, don't look at this.
Yeah, right. He's about to give me one. There we go. So that was the car that with the hood. Not the best picture, but you can almost tell the stripe on the side, and it turns to sickle at the end on the back of the car.
Sharp
Yeah, it was.
ground effects. I like.
Yep. The car came from Michigan. Actually, the guy that originally built it, he was a paraplegic, actually. So it had hand controls when we purchased the car to be able to drive it. He actually drove it from Michigan down here to Florida before I ever met him. Had it turbocharged by a company actually out of Jacksonville, Florida back in the day. Yeah, he was actually very popular. He had a website, the Grim Reaper. He was really actually a super nice guy. But he had hard luck with the car. Been through a couple built motors on it. He decided it sat for a couple years, and he ended up buying it, and we did our thing, and then passed it on. And it was fun while it lasted, but at the same time, I'm glad I don't have it anymore.
Money pit sounded like.
It was. Like I said, we had some
all
fun.
race cars are though, I guess, really, and unless you're going professional and some sponsored and everything, you're going to be spending money.
Yeah, I bought that Volkswagen. I bought the dune buggy for $1,500, and I beat the crap out of it and sold it for $3,000. So
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, cars are, play toy cars is what I call them are. And unfortunately, I still have a couple. Not that one. I have a thing for Cavaliers, J bodies as I know them, but I've owned many, and I have 2001 that I bought new and I still have. I track it. It's supercharged, and I have another one that I picked up that I off-road rally. Have fun beating that one. Paid $500 for that one and just beat the crap out of it. So, if I have my picture, I do.
Looks like you're liberally applying some sugar, John.
What's that?
You
I
put
said,
some
you get the
shooting on?
airbag in place?
Sorry, JMH, he's asking if you got the airbag in place, I believe.
Yeah, it's no longer in place after it hit me in the face. So,
Stuffed it with old socks or something. Put it back together.
yeah, so that was me just a couple weeks ago.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So when it hit the ground, the airbag went off and hit me in the face.
I bet.
But I didn't stop. I kept going.
No, you didn't. It was pretty cool how you just kind of like swiped it out of the way with your forearm and just kept driving.
I was trying to tuck it into the steering wheel as I'm driving and not realizing that as I'm doing that, every time I would turn to the left, because the airbag was sticking through the back, it would catch the wiper arm. When I would turn the wipers on, I'd get straight. I'd hit the wipers down, I'd turn again and turn them back on. But I didn't stop. I kept going. But sadly, I also busted the radiator. Actually pushed the radiator back and it pinched the radiator hose, and it leaked all the coolant out. So I think I overheated it, but it ran and drove, and I drove it on the trailer. So we got a few upgrades.
Those Dukes of Hazzard worthy there.
Right? Yeah, I sent it a little harder than I intended to. But it's fun. And for anybody that might care, I was wearing a helmet and there's a roll cage in the car. So got some safety going on. Maybe not all of it, but some.
I could pop a wheelie in my buggy, but I've never been airborne in it.
This isn't the first time I've been airborne in that car either. I've actually done it a few times now. That was the highest that I've gotten. So we're actually, I've got a racing seat and harnesses to install on it.
So you're all good and strapped in there real tight and everything.
I'm not currently, but I will be hopefully the next time we go out, because
Yeah.
I do have a video. I can share the link for anybody. I know Brian's seen it because I shared it with him. I have a video on my channel, but it's not really public. It's just, with a link you can access it. And it's actually in-car footage of me racing it in that jump. So you can actually see the airbag hit me in the face. So if anybody's interested, I can share the link.
Nice.
All my cool stuff happened before YouTube.
Yeah. I will say that car, I bought it for $500 from a friend. I knew the car, drove it home. We've had it like 2 years, and we have raced it for rallycross off-road, beat the tar out of it, and it has been an absolute blast. Not having a care. I usually always take really good care of my cars and like keep them good looking and all that kind of stuff. This one, I don't care.
It's like a work truck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, after I finished that run, I actually went to the pits and I took a knife and cut the airbag out of the steering wheel.
Be back in a second.
I never had an airbag go off on me before, so that was a first experience.
Yeah, I never have. Knock on wood.
Makes an interesting noise, I will tell you that. And I've been told that it hurts. I didn't feel anything.
Probably depends on where you are, how close you are to the seat belt,
I'm sure.
Steering wheel, how tall you are, everything.
I think I'm also thinking that so I hit the ground and kept going. Where I think it probably would be different if it was you wreck and
Full
you
impact.
come to a stop, it would be different. Probably slam you obviously more towards the steering wheel. Gabe's saying power still hasn't come on. That sucks to hear.
Texas with power issues. Imagine that.
Right. Is it flooding now or is it snowing? Because I know y'all get a little bit of all of that.
Yeah, right. These days, you never know.
Exactly. Yeah, the amount of smoke, or I say smoke, powder from the airbags, that was interesting.
Yeah, the CO2 powder or whatever it is.
I think so. The airbag broke my neighbor's arm on his face. I've heard of stories like that.
Yeah, if you put your arm up to try to block it and shove it right in your face, yeah, I can imagine.
Or it catches on fire or something like that.
I've heard stories of shrapnel being in there and or something, blowing out of there and
Mhm.
it's lacerating.
I've heard different
something
things.
or-
Yep, absolutely. I've heard a few different things like that.
There's been recalls on airbags, and
Yep.
some of them don't go off when they should.
Yep.
Some of them go off premature and not even when they're supposed to.
Right?
Yep. That too.
Little fender bender in traffic. And poof.
Yep.
Now driving down the highway at 55, boom!
Just randomly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would suck.
Wonder if the new smart cars could be hacked that way,
Interesting.
Probably.
Yeah, could be. So Kevin said he was steering one-handed from the top. That's how it happened.
Oh, yeah. 10-2.
It's wind season for Gabe. The old Western movies, always having tumbleweeds blowing away. That's how windy it is here. 50 mile an hour. Wow, that's a lot of wind. Tumbleweeds must be getting into the power lines, shorting them out.
It might be some of the planned outages or something for maintenance, or it's hard to say.
Yeah.
It might not even be an actual outage.
Anybody got any RC stuff planned for this week?
Yeah, I'm going mudding tomorrow.
And
Supposed
that's
to
RC
rain,
mudding?
so- Oh yeah, RC mudding. I have a little Kia Soul. I can't go mudding in that. Used to love mudding my dune buggy, man. That was fun.
Yeah, I've done RC mudding a couple times. I don't like the cleanup.
Yeah, it's a pain in the neck, but
Guess if you're going to clean it up, you might as well get it out of your system. Get a whole bunch of mud in and water runs. Then just do a whole tear down. Or some people just get them muddy and put them on the shelf, and like a normal car,
yeah.
That's my SMT10. It's still got mud on it from last year at Axial Fest.
I will say
wonder
that
why-
some of them,
Scale mud.
I wonder why I got to do a bearing job on it.
I will say that some of my RCs, particularly my 6x6, still has some mud on the tires from USTE. I haven't cleaned them yet.
Probably
Yeah, but that was
seem
what,
cool.
3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking. Come July, it'll be a year. Little bit of a difference there.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just got some new waterproof socks.
Waterproof socks.
Interesting.
Yeah. Do they
Yeah,
go up
just
your
get some
leg?
new waterproof socks so I can go mudding tomorrow. Yeah, they go about calf high. So
Okay.
They hold the sweat in from your feet too.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
they probably do.
You get out of them with swamp foot.
Yeah. Yeah, Brian, I think I seen one of those posts earlier today. Like some people posting they still have UST mud on their rigs. Yeah.
I'm
Saw
sure
that.
Barbecue does. He put in a pretty cool new drag section at his course of look like cinder blocks and stuff, long straight section for rock bouncers. It's
Oh,
cool.
nice. Nice.
At the end of it, where all the bashers jumped.
Oh yeah,
Man,
that was cool.
oh,
Yeah, that was
man.
Sunday.
Yeah.
What they call the grand finale or something.
We're
like
like, what? Way up there, man. They must have been going 10, 12 feet in the air, huh?
Oh, they're going higher than that.
They're going
Oh,
further
yeah?
than that. I'll tell you
that.
that.
That ramp looked like it was at least 6 feet,
Yeah. The one I
7
didn't
foot 1
see,
inch.
I
7
didn't
foot.
see him
Okay,
going
so
all the way up. They didn't show it. They just showed it was going out of the camera
launch.
shot. So, yeah.
So I can tell you that because I did the ramp with my Max, I was hitting it before the Basher thing started that day, like probably 15 minutes before. And yeah, I was probably getting 20, 25 feet up in the air.
Jeez.
And
Some guys landed hard too, man, right on the top.
a lot
I'm
of
like,
guys
oh,
landed
man.
hard. I landed hard many times as well. And so they have two competitions on that. There's a distance and height competition that they do. So I attempted the distance, even though I knew I had no shot at winning it. And then after I did my distance shot, I actually parked my rig and went over and started videoing. That'd be a good idea, Kevin. A rock bouncer race course would be cool.
right?
At UST.
They have those like U4 races at Axial Fest and stuff where they jog behind the
Mhm.
rock bouncer or whatever for
Yeah.
like 5K or something. I don't know if it was 5K, 1K or something like that.
Exactly.
Ow!
I agree with Kevin that more like a track. Yeah, because I don't think I'd want to be running like I've seen what you're talking about. I've seen it, I think, last year in somebody's video where they covered it. Yeah, and people were running and doing multiple laps on a course. I'm like, yeah, that was
Sprained
Running
ankle
behind
waiting
it.
to happen.
exactly
Be
as well
crawling
as
off the
getting,
course,
as well as getting tired, and
right?
everything.
Sitting down for a break halfway around.
Yeah.
Water break.
Yeah. I know last year once at Esha Cage RC's place, he did a little course, and he did it for crawlers, basically, but it was a little like U4 type thing. There was some stuff he piled up on it, so I ran my Traxxas Blazer TRX4 Blazer, just put it in second gear and ran it. And I actually won one of the heats with it, just like that.
Nice.
It was fun. We were beating the crap out of our rigs doing it, though.
Yeah. Should be
Rock
sponsored by
Bouncer.
parts manufacturers.
Yeah. Rock Bouncer had definitely been much better for that. So. But that would be cool at USD. I wouldn't be surprised to see something like that. They keep expanding what they're doing and
Trying to draw on different genres of the
Yep.
scales, aspects, and bashers.
Kevin, if I'm running, something's gone horribly wrong. Agree. Something's chasing me that I don't want to catch.
Yeah, my running days are coming to an end for sure.
Yeah.
Pay for it afterwards.
Yeah.
Mine's gone.
Yeah, I think they're doing a good job of trying to draw more and more people in. But the reality is I think most of us that are into RCs tend to have more than just a crawler or crawlers. I mean, I have mostly crawlers, but I've got a couple of bashers. And, I don't really
There are a
have
few diehard scale people that might not have any bashers or anything, but
it's feasibly, yeah, definitely. Just like you're gonna probably have some racers that won't have any crawlers, but
true.
generally speaking, you end up with more. Like I have one boat, I want a couple more, to be honest, and I'd like a couple street fast RCs that I don't currently have right now, but I'll get them eventually. Granted, my Max
the
can
small planes. I think if you're under 250 grams, like a drone, you don't have to have a license for a plane too. Those look kind of cool. They got a lot of safety features on them and stuff now.
I've had a few different drones. I still have two actually, but I would like to get a nicer one, like a really nice one. I haven't decided if I want to spend that money.
That DJI FPV thing's pretty crazy.
Agree. Easy Froggy saying he doesn't have a basher, and realize it's not for everybody. So it seems like I would say, I don't know, I'd guess 60 to 70%. I would say probably have more than one style of RC.
Some people don't drive a basher. Like some people say it's not bashing unless you jump it over a certain height, or whatever. So different categories. Some people just run bashers like race cars or.
Yeah. I run my Max sometimes as just, I mean, I'll take it out just on the street and just, full throttled up and down the street. I still technically consider it bashing but I mean, good point, I think.
I think bashing should be just like pushing its limits, any way you do it.
Agree. Because he can't chase it down when it flips. And I will say that like something like a Traxxas Max or an X Max, boy, when those things flip, just get out of the way because they're going for a while. When they start flipping when they're doing 40 plus miles an hour, they're flipping for a while.
Yeah, it's pretty scary when they're coming towards people on videos.
Yes.
It's like rule of thumb, if you drive it towards yourself, plan on dodging it.
Right.
It's not a successful run or successful ownership unless you flipped a Max or an X Max India at least once in your life, or have to do, or I'm gonna say it this way, or have to do the oh shit duck and cover.
So I went. I forgot when it was a couple of months ago. I went to. They have this X Max bash here in Jacksonville that Sean Larman of Jack's RC and Recycle puts on every year. And I went to it. Me and my son, my 8-year-old, we went really just to watch. I only have a Max and not an X Max. So we went and we were trying to video, and they were doing this figure 8 course. And we were actually standing over by Exocaged RC, and my son's videotape and standing right next to me on one of the X Maxes. Veers off course and like right into his shins, and my 8-year-old lands right on top of the X Max.
Oh man!
And Joe Exocaged RC actually had multiple cameras set up, and he actually caught it on his camera from the side where it took him down, and he edited it up and sent it to me. He goes, "I'm not putting this online. Do with it what you want, but I'm not putting this online."
Right.
And I said, "Well, I will," but I never did. My son begged me, "Don't put it online."
Yeah, that's gonna go viral.
Yeah, it took him out, and it hurt for a few minutes.
It's good that he could get up and walk away from it.
Yeah, because those things are big.
It's not that I'm trying to say that I've done this. So actually, I did do this. It was a complete accident. Last week when I was out with the LMT, when I destroyed the front axle, I actually brought it up out of the bowl, and the guy was standing next to me, and it came up out of the bowl blindly, and I caught it midair.
Nice, like a skateboard trick or something.
Yeah. Ryan says
the basher I got a long time ago, it was in the 90s. That thing would I'd drive it for a little while, and it would just take off. And I finally, I didn't trade it in, but I put it back in the hobby shop because it would just take off. I got tired of chasing it.
Sounds like an ESC calibration issue or something.
It was in the early 90s, so it's like...
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I started 5 years ago, so...
Yeah.
Ryan said since he's got into crawling...
But the thing would just...
That would be scary. Run away.
Yeah. Ryan says since he's gotten into crawling,
all the time to get it too.
He's realized the appeal of staying crawling only. He used to be strictly a basher. And Gabe says, if it makes you feel better, last year I decided to try out running as a workout. And on the first lap around my local park, I lost my footing and fell. Never again will I run the exercise. Don't blame you. And Brian said that I removed my toenail with my own nitro car I was driving. That sounds painful.
Ow.
Hopefully you're wearing flip-flops or no shoes at least.
Yeah, that definitely sounds painful for sure.
When you do, just a word of advice, when you do accidentally remove a toenail, don't go into the bathroom blindly and grab the first bottle and dump it on.
Might be Shugu.
I
Might
grabbed,
be
I
Gorilla
grabbed the
Glue.
rubbing alcohol. and
Rubbing
actually-
alcohol. That's what I was
There you
thinking.
go.
It's a little stronger than you needed.
Yeah.
Go
I mean,
for
peroxide
hydrogen
can sting
peroxide.
on its own.
Right.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying, 90%
Yeah.
rubbing alcohol
yeah.
or whatever,
It's really gonna sting.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Make it a little more memorable, so you won't do it again.
Yeah.
You
That was a
double
one-
check
that
when
was
you
a-
open that cabinet, don't you?
That was a one-trick pony.
I had those cons like that.
So do you think this is enough shoe glue and drywall tape for Brad there, Keegan?
Pretty good. Here, I can
Yeah,
make
it's
you
looking pretty strong.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm not gonna just the
Sounds
front
good.
end. And of course, I told him I was gonna tag it.
Nice. Oh, nice. Your Deckles
Oh,
right.
very nice. Yeah. Even protected it.
Just
That
don't
way
eat
you can get
popcorn after that. I shoe glued mine one time and I ate some popcorn and I'm like, what in the heck's in my tooth? It's a piece of that fiberglass tape.
Wow.
A little roughage. One way to get the Shugu off, just eat something afterwards and chew it off.
So I shouldn't be trying to eat the shoe glue off my tooth.
Right.
No, don't eat popcorn after.
AZ Froggy says no, needs more.
Yeah.
Right.
If it was my body,
Should be
if it was
6
my
pack.
body, the whole thing would be shoe glued and drywall taped.
Triple the weight.
I'm totally out of that.
So
I had
Brian
to
said
cut
he was
mine
in.
open today. Go ahead. Sorry.
Brian said he was in flip flops driving back towards me. Left was right, right was left. I couldn't figure out in the moment why it kept coming at me.
Oh,
Time's running out. Pressure's building.
gotta love when your servo's reversed for some dumb reason on you.
Are you saying it's coming back towards them? So instead of
Yeah.
how it's
Yeah, you
easy to
got-
drive away from you.
He got disoriented with which way it needed to be. That would not be fun.
Yeah, I had to cut my E6000 bottle open, totally dry. Got some bad cracks in my body. The Basher body, it's like, oh man, the Volkswagen body I got, it's cracked all the way up on both sides. It's really messed up.
I think that E6000, you want to squeeze all the extra oxygen out of the tube you can, and then you put the cap on. I mean, if you leave it with any O2, it's going to dry out.
Oh yeah, no, I put it was, I mean, I opened it up. I was just scraping it out with a tongue suppressor thing just to get all the stuff out of it.
If anybody has seen, I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but Red Cat's giving away one of their 64 Impalas. You can enter for free. You don't have to do anything. So if you go to their Facebook or their Instagram, there's a link. You can sign up to possibly win one of their 64 Impalas. It's one of those things I wouldn't buy myself, but if I want it, okay, I'll take it.
Right.
Yeah. I already seen that and signed up for it too myself.
Everybody wonders where the money is in it. And it's probably that custom controller, the Reef servo, obviously.
Oh yeah.
A lot of money in the
Absolutely.
custom controller,
I'd like to, if they made
Body.
a clear body, that would be cool. And you could do your own paint job on it.
Yeah, I'm sure they will eventually.
I wouldn't be surprised to see see more with that. I mean, they already got upgrades for it, different wheels and stuff like that. So, again, I wouldn't spend the money for it, but who wants to win one? I want to win one. I'd take one if I
Yeah.
wanted. I just not the $600 to buy it. I'll spend $600 on a different rig first, but I still would. I'd
Yeah,
still
no
play
kidding.
with it.
Mm-hmm. They look good on a trailer trailer it around and play with
Absolutely.
it.
Right. Absolutely. A trailer. I think that would be awesome. Have it on a trailer and, certain events, put it in 3-wheel and let it sit there. And
Go mudding with it.
I don't think it would do too good.
Use your
I mean,
hydraulic.
Yeah,
I know there's
hydraulic.
people that don't like them, but I mean, an Impala in general, the Impala, those 64 Impala bodies are just a beautiful, design car to begin with. So,
Mm-hmm.
just from a looks perspective, I think it's cool. Yeah, so it would be fun to paint. Yeah, I agree. I'm surprised we haven't seen more custom ones already. Like people repainting them.
Full interiors or something. Probably not much room to do that.
I have seen a couple.
That's good.
He says I would want to sell it after a month, and yeah, I don't agree. I've only so far sold one of my RCs, and that was the 124 scale that I just sold. So far, every RC that I've gotten, I have not sold. I have a hard time getting rid of them. So
Some people
it'd be
have
one I would.
seller's remorse after they sell them too.
Yeah.
End up buying it again later.
Yep, for more or something. So it'd be one of those I probably wouldn't play with very often. It's just like my RC trailer I have. I usually use it a couple times a year. UST is one of those events. And then, maybe one other time, and it just sits around, but I still think it's cool to have.
Yeah, they're fun to build, the trailers. And I built 2, 3 of them.
I haven't built one yet. I bought mine already built. I'm debating on I want a gooseneck really bad. Just don't know if I'm confident in my abilities to build it. But I may
One
be
of
giving
those Sunmap 450s would be nice for a gooseneck.
Hardest part was the axle, but I kind of
somebody got power back.
That's your boy.
That so
Somebody got power back.
put a dowel in.
Yep. Let there be light.
Hello, hello. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Wee!
Good evening. How's it going, Gabe?
Made it. Pretty good, man. Yourself?
Doing good, thank you, sir.
Awesome, awesome. How's everybody
Mojave,
doing?
huh?
Yeah. I wanted to bring something. They sound a little kinky, but wanted to bring something big out tonight. And there it is.
We appreciate you bringing something big to the bedroom.
Yeah.
Roll.
Yeah. So.
Oh. Good timing. But I agree with you that F450 would be great. In fact, there was a guy at USTE with one of those with a massively long gooseneck trailer, and the trailer was so beautiful. I don't know how many times I complimented him on his trailer because it was like it could haul 3 RCs on it, and he was pulling it with that F450. Oh.
Nice. I saw Tony put up a post about tow hitch for the Sun. It's not a fifth wheel; it's just a regular tow hitch for off the frame. Extends the frame out. And
see, I want one for my 6x6, my axial 6x6. I would like to pull a gooseneck behind it that I could haul like 2 crawlers on. I think that would be like great. My trailer I currently have is just one can only haul 1 car. So Gabe, how's the? I was
gentlemen,
watching your video earlier of your new TRX. You enjoying using that? I see.
Oh man, that thing does wonders, man. I'll tell you this, man. When the TRX4 came out, I was just like, it's just gonna be another crawler. But now that I own 2, that's gotta say, man, that's a game changer. That vehicle is so capable.
Very much.
You know, very, very, you know, balanced in a way that you just slap a battery on there and let the adventure begin. You know. So
I know when I went to USTE, you know, I took 8 rigs, and a couple of my rigs, my TRX4, my original Gen 8, I hadn't driven either one of those in many, many months, like probably 6 months almost. And when I finally got to driving both of them, I was like, dang, why don't I use these more? Like both of them, I'm like, oh my God, they run so well. Why ain't I using them? And, you know, I've only got like 12 or 13. I know you got, you know, the same number of RCs, but I was like, man, I need to use these more because they're just both of them. My Gen 8 and my Blazer are just great rigs.
I think there's a guy on Francois'
man.
show the other night that might have the most I've ever heard of. I think he said he had 400. Is that right? Is that right,
Oh.
John?
Competition
I
X.
can't remember.
Yeah, Tony from Competition X.
Yep. Made everybody feel a little bit better about
It
your
was-
collections.
Yeah, it was actually on Thursday or Friday. I'm not sure, but yeah, it was Tony from Competition X. He claimed that he had one time. He said he claimed that he had 450 rigs. So,
Wow.
You gotta have like a mechanic
actually,
on
to
hand
me,
to keep them up for you.
Right?
and to me, that was just a relief because I'm like, oh boy, okay.
I don't have a problem.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
I
feel bad
definitely
about building
don't.
this 2-car garage for my RCs.
Yeah, I definitely don't at like 15. I'm good.
No.
So he wants our opinion. He has an all metal trail walker getting ready to do a new build. Should he do a Gatekeeper or another all metal trail truck based on the Enduro platform?
I mean, if you have a metal truck, if you want another one, I mean, I don't see the sense of that. Gatekeeper would be, you know, I guess your best bid. Why? Because 2 of the same thing will actually get boring, you know, after a while. That's just my opinion. I mean, I would just say Gatekeeper, build it, do it, or buy it ready to run.
I'm with you on this side of
Okay.
switch it up. You know, like, I mean, that's one of the things I like so far about what I have. You know, I have a variety of rigs. You know, I don't have everything's not all TRX. You know, I have quite a few different ones. I mean, I do have a couple Gen 8s. One's a comp rig and one's a trail rig, but you know, outside of that, I have a variety. I say switch it up personally, but and maybe doing the Gatekeeper is the way to do that.
Is a Gatekeeper a basher or a rock crawler?
Like a rock bouncer.
Oh, okay.
Like a cage chassis.
Yeah.
I think it may have frame rails still. I forget.
Well,
Not sure
well, I
on
guess
that
if you build it, well, you kind of have I guess a sense of saying, well, is this going to be truly a basher or a crawler?
Right. How capable will it be?
so-
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. But unless you buy the ready to run, yeah, that's going to be just another, you know, rock bouncer.
Yeah.
That's what they call it, I guess, a rock bouncer. I'm not sure.
Yeah, rock bouncer, I believe.
Yeah, that's what the manufacturer claims it is.
Yep.
And Shannon Vance, I'll give you another perspective. Okay, you mentioned that you already have another metal trail walker, and you may probably build another one. So I do have 2 TRX4s. Okay, one's the 79 Blazer, and then the other one is a 72. Although they are the same rigs underneath, pretty much both of those 2 rigs don't have the same upgrade. Okay, so that even kind of, you know, switches it up a little bit. So if you're trying to build another metal trail truck, maybe change it up a bit, you know. Even
Try
that
different
could be
parts.
a little bit interesting.
Different
Yeah,
manufacturer
exactly, you know.
stuff. Yeah.
Exactly.
Different
Yeah. So
electronics.
maybe when you build your build your first one, maybe you stumble upon parts that you had second thoughts and maybe you didn't get them. If you're planning to build another one, well, maybe, hey, take that direction this time. I mean, that's just another perspective, I guess, to look at. So.
He's saying that's what he was thinking. Just, I only have one trail walker, but it's just nice. He wants his next one to be as good. I see that. I think part of the fun for me, at least, is I do get another rig. Is even if I have to modify it a lot, to get it as good as my other rigs, which it started for me originally really my Gen 8, and that's the one I had everything done to. So everything I've got since then has been like, okay, what can I do to make it as good or better than the Gen 8? And I've definitely done that. Kevin Gibbs is asking 1.55 rig or 1.9 rig.
Yeah, that's I can answer that. I mean, I've never driven a 155. The Trail Walker, right? It has 155s.
It does.
Yeah. Well, I know you have one, right? I mean, did you use yours with 155s?
So mine, I started with the 155s, and I did drive it a few times with it. I'll be honest, I didn't like it with the 155s. Now I'm still on what's considered a small tire. I'm on it's on a class 1 Hyrax 1.9, which is a really small 1.9, so it fits in class 1. And with that made all the difference in that rig, in my opinion. It gave it just the right amount of clearance. I mean, obviously it still can get hung up, straight axle, it still has its, potential issues, but on that 1.9 small tire, I love it. I think it's a great rig.
Javier's in the chat. Hey, Javier. So
Javier,
must be
how you doing?
Javier, Brendan Shipman.
4.19 or something.
Yeah, I believe so. 4.19.
Hey, 11, Charlie.
Something like that. But it's a
Howdy,
class
Javier.
1 legal 1.9. Great tire.
Nice.
And technically on paper, I mean, so 155, that's technically like a 1.6 maybe, right? I mean, I don't know why they had to just add that 5, on there. Wouldn't it just be better if they just say a 1.6 inch tire,
True.
right?
Be like a 16-inch rim.
And in reality, if it's a 1.6 to a 1.9, I know there is a difference in, the measurement, but technically speaking, it's just, it's less than an inch, really. You're talking millimeters, right?
Yeah.
On there. So basically, it could be the same tire.
So I will
Could
say
be, but
that
technically, it's not.
on the tire size, really depends on where you're crawling and stuff. Like UST is a good example. I could crawl with any of my 1.9 regular 1.9 rigs, Gen 8, TRX4, and nothing was super challenging. There was a couple spots that were tight. I might have had to work just a little bit, but overall I could pretty much get, as long as my driving skill was there, I could get anything. A smaller tire vehicle, like a true 1.55, there would be some things there that would be challenging. I'm not saying impossible, just challenging. Generally speaking, a normal 1.9 tire, most of that stuff's not necessarily, it's nothing challenging to it, which I'm okay with as well, because I do challenging in competition. I don't need it to be challenging. I'm there for the beauty of the trails, the skill side of things more, and just having a good time. So it really depends on where you're driving the rig at, in my opinion.
Right.
And leaf sprung
So now,
rigs
and speaking
do drive much difficult too.
And speaking about the Trail Walker, I've noticed, because I've seen it in a couple videos, and I've noticed that those tires actually stand out, from their fenders. Now, does that truck do a lot of body rub?
With the stock tires, a little, not too much. Now I have those 1.9s on there, and I've had people comment on my videos with it. Please, trim the body, and I trim the rear of the body for the scalar fab bumper, but that's all the trimming I'm going to do. I'm not going to. I like the looks of the body, so I'm leaving the body alone outside of that. So with the bigger 1.9 small tire, it does rub. Anytime you get the suspension travel in, it does rub.
Yeah, it
more.
hits, right? Like it hits
Yep.
it hits the body like completely.
But like you said,
And actually
I like the sound of it.
yeah. But like you said, the 1.55s that come on it are pretty wide 1.55s, and the 1.9 Hyraxes aren't as wide as those 1.55s. Like they're a narrower tire, so it rubs, but typically the tires will go up into the inside the body, but it's still enough to rub.
Oh, okay, I see.
So and Kevin's saying that's why he RCs, just to be outside living. I agree with that. It's definitely a good reason to be outside. So he's saying, in case I missed it, he has about $2,000 in his trail walker as it sits. And it's your rig. Do what you want. Put as much as you want in it. I definitely have nowhere near that in mine. And the only thing I have left that I want to do on mine is a different ESC, because I'm still on the stock ESC. Really, outside of that, my rig's perfect where it's at.
No, and I gotta say, man, if it's $2,000, you gotta put more money on there.
Is it in dollar bills or hundreds?
Right?
Kevin says he's pulling a Sean's RC, slowly switching rigs to hard bodies.
Nice.
Good evening, Trail Critter. Thanks for joining.
Hey, Jake. Good evening. Welcome.
Yeah, hard bodies are definitely a little more scale, a little more
Definitely.
challenging to drive with.
Yep.
Harder to put on some rigs, to make fit, especially with interiors.
Yep. Love the looks of a hard body, definitely, but I guess I have technically one hard body at the moment.
Oh, speaking of the devil, look at that. Sean's RC
Hey, Sean.
says, hey. Good evening.
Yes. Good evening, Sean.
John.
Somebody just mentioned you, and then you show up. You must have heard it.
Yeah,
Was that Fat
Kevin
Albert
was
that's
actually
talking about me?
joining you with the hard body.
I think that was Fat Albert's
Yeah.
intro, wasn't it? Hey.
Yep. Hey. Getting ready to rip up the mud tomorrow. He said his ears were burning. Yep. So we should ask this of Sean. Sean, what's the first thing you upgrade on a rig when you get a new rig?
Yes, and I know guys already mentioned it. I guess you just kind of want to hear it from me. So I did make a post. Okay, if I come up with a question or whatever, I'll make a post on my community tab. And so this week, I decided to ask, so when you buy a crawler, what is the first thing you do, to a ready to run vehicle? And the answers were, so I can be.
I have it pulled up on my side if you want me to read it off.
Yeah, sure, if you don't mind.
Yep.
That'll be great.
I have it pulled up. So the answers that were listed was change out servo, wheels and tires, scale accessories and aluminum/brass parts, remote receiver, and motor and ESC. And number one at 52% was change out servo.
And that was
Wheels and
like
tires.
by, when you, yeah.
Yeah.
That
Wheels
was
and tires
like
was at
the favorite
33%.
answer.
Yep. And then after wheels and
Yeah.
tires, everything else was at 5%. So
Yeah, so
I have to
that's very
highlight
interesting
this
to know.
Sean is like the candy man, mentioning 3 times and he will appear.
Right. Beetlejuice.
Yeah. Nice. Gabe, what were you going to say?
I was just gonna say, for all the manufacturers, I guess that, for example, Axial or I always have Altera in mind, but it's no longer a company. But Axial, what's its name? Element, CredCAD. So, ladies and gentlemen, the first thing that all of us people, hobbyists, what we do when we first get a RC crawler is we do change out the servo. Okay, and that's why I put that answer right on top, because I knew that answer was just going to be picked. Okay, and then the rest was just, I guess by popular demand, maybe. But it is interesting, what that information that I gathered. It is very interesting that everybody just goes out and gets servo.
So more or less, you asked a question you already knew the answer to.
Yes and no. Yes, because
The top
that's
answer,
basically
too.
what I do too. But yeah, no, because hey, man, not everybody thinks the same.
It's true.
So,
True.
and look, another thing. Also, GMHRC, he also asked me, when I came in. Basically, what I do, the first thing that I do is I change out the plugs. Okay, and I didn't even
Right.
mention that, but it is one of the first things that I do.
Right.
And then
Kinda
from
make it work
there,
with whatever
since I own
better
many
system
RCs
you
and
use.
I have everything. Yeah, and since I have many RCs and I only use 3 remotes for my entire fleet, well, I change out the receiver.
True.
So right out of the box, that's what I do. And from there, plus whatever the vehicle needs.
I think the new Red Cats might come with
Yes.
like the Amazon 25 kilogram servo, which isn't a bad
Yeah,
RTR
the,
servo.
That's all I ever use.
Yeah, they new V2 Gen 8. That's what it has. Of course, you got the Axe that has the nice Reefs
Right.
servo. That's one of the few RCs you're going to buy with a servo you don't need to touch.
Yeah.
Maybe the ones in the back you might, but not that front one.
Yeah. Kevin Gibbs said, "Send Traxxas and Horizon your findings, please."
I hope they're listening, man. I hope they're listening.
Right.
But
no, I agree that servos are easy. Obviously, I mean, I know there's some expensive servos, like that Reefs 777 is, pretty expensive servo. And there's, some other ones like that, but you got the 25 kgs, which I've had one of those before and burnt one up. But I tend to run the 35 kg servos off Amazon, the Kushike, Zeus K, or whatever it is. And I've had extreme success with those servos. For the price, $35. I haven't killed one yet. So, for the money, it's not a bad upgrade, to spend $35 and upgrade a servo. I know there's the people that are going to spend $100 or more and get one of those high dollar servos, and that's great.
Yeah, there's different options out there for sure.
Yep.
I think Sended RC, Nitro Freak is pushing them pretty hard. They seem to have decent prices on pretty strong servos. About half the price of Reefs. I don't know how they are for crawling as far as speed and everything, but
You can strip out the
another
expensive
brand that is
ones and
highly.
stick the Sonics. Go ahead, Bashful.
Yeah.
You can break any good
And
servo.
actually, that
any
no,
servo,
you're
right.
You're good, Keith. You're good. I was gonna say, I personally, I also love, Savox, and actually that is my go-to brand. I've never had issues with one. Never. I've got into like the most low-end, Savox to like the super, super high-end Savox and never had any issues. So because of that, I guess I'm a true hard, Savox fan. But yeah, and also I was gonna mention there's another brand out there that is highly opinionated, that is it's called the High Tech. Okay, I hear good things about it, and then I also hear the most bad things, from that manufacturer. Have you guys ever tried a High Tech servo?
I haven't. I've heard about them, but I haven't tried them.
I was
Good.
given one.
No.
Um,
No. What do you think?
I was given one, and when I went to go install it, it didn't work.
Did you thank the guy later?
Oh, and it wasn't given to me that I needed it. They were like, "Hey, I got this. You want it?" And basically just like gave it to me, and it sat on the shelf for 6 months. And then I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna put it in this rig," and it didn't work. And I'm like, okay. I mean, it wasn't a sweat off my back. I was like, okay, I'll buy 35 kg and throw in there, but it did sort of put probably a bad taste in my mouth for that brand because, I mean, not saying it was the brand's fault because I don't know what it had been through,
Right.
Previously owned. So I can't blame it on them, but still sort of left that taste in my mouth.
There's definitely more
Did you
options
read
out there
Sean's
than
comment?
ever. Stuff for more trade.
I understand his point. I think I slightly disagree, though. I mean, I do agree that obviously they've been tested, but great example is my Axial 6x6. That servo is weak and slow from the factory. I mean, and mine's stock, completely stock wheel, stock everything, and it's so weak and slow. So
275 or whatever it is.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what it is, but whatever they put in there, and it's honestly, in my opinion, it's one of the worst RTR servos I've come across, at least off the rigs that I've personally come across. So, it should have had more, in my opinion. So, just in stock form, I feel like that rig needs a better servo, and I will put one in it. Kevin also talked about Cyvox being power hungry. I've heard that before. What's your thoughts on that game?
And noisy.
Yeah, no, I do agree. They're very noisy.
This is the one I stripped out.
Really? You had issues with that one? That's
I stripped this one out. Yep. Yeah, I stripped the gears out of it. I went and got new gears.
They were titanium or plastic?
They're the gears. Yeah. No, they're titanium.
How did you manage to do that, man?
I don't know, man. Beanfield's a hard driver.
That Beanfield has a heavy foot, I see.
Yeah.
But no, man, Savox, I will admit, it is power hungry. It is pricey. But at the same time, before Reeves, before any other brands were out there, Savox was ahead of its game, man. I didn't hear Reeves until, like 2 years ago, the most. And Savox, I mean, I've had a Savox servo like early 2014, per se. I don't know if you've heard of the.
A lot of them are probably just
there's actually a
rebranded
model
from manufacturers nowadays. So.
Right. I don't know if you've ever seen the Ready to Run, the Sun Racing. I think it's the Colossus. That model. So basically, it's a nice basher, a huge monster truck. That vehicle came with Savox servo. Okay. I was gonna pull the trigger.
Yeah,
on
the
one
gears
of
ain't too expensive.
But no, and to rebuild them, that they're the parts everything's
like
available.
$7.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And overall, man, I have nothing bad to say. With Savox, the only thing is, yeah, of course, they are power hungry. From there, there's nothing you can do. I mean, and by the end of the day, man, okay, so it is power hungry, right? So that does mean that what, you don't have a charger right next to you, or I mean, come on, battery runs out sooner.
I was gonna say they're power hungry. They squeal like pigs.
Do you run the SW0123? I mean 0231? Is that the one you run?
Well, that particular servo that you have, I've never won waterproof. I've never, but I've got in Savox, with titanium gears. Even with a high ounce torque servos on there. And I've never had any issues with them. And see, with yes, and what I mean about power hunger, yes, I know you do need a BAC, for you not to get glitches and stuff like that. That doesn't mean that your battery doesn't run. But at the same time, that little glitch, that actually affects your battery time. Believe it or not. That was something that I was just told, in my local hobby shop, that every time you move that servo, yeah, you're pretty much, feeding all of that power, just to that particular electronic every time you move the dial. So, in other words, I know it's not a lot of, big difference, but at the same time, in the long run, like, yeah, it's eating up power. So.
Easy Froggy says he will stay with his MKS servos. I'm not familiar with those personally. And Javier says Reef's 444s and 555s he loves. And I can say that I bought a rig that had an original Reef's 4222 in it, and I've put that in a different rig of mine. And I will say that that's opened my eyes to the Reef servos as far as like first time I've had a rig with that in it, and it is a great servo, and that's the original version. I know versions 2 is different now, but and I have played with a couple exo caged RC's rigs, and he's got the 777s like in his Creep 6. I got to play with that a couple weeks ago, and wow, I can say. So I do see the niceness of Reefs. Just don't know if I want to spend the money. Saying that the Servox.
Hey, John Martin,
is chirpy.
Brent Tiblin's asking, how's the Hornet coming along? It makes a lot of
Nice.
noise.
Decals are
Starting
going
to-
on.
Super noisy.
So, looking good.
All right.
Yeah, starting to decal it. Just trying to figure out which way this one sticker goes.
Kevin was agreeing with Javier and saying that Reef's is top shelf. I just haven't burnt one up to replace it yet. And I'm sort of in the same boat as Kevin. I've considered going to a Reef servo, but I haven't had any of my 35 kgs that I have burn up. I've also considered Holmes Hobby servos. They've got these come out with servos, and I've seen and heard some really good things about theirs. And I mean, I know what his motors are like, and I love those motors. So I have a hard time believing that his servos won't be, but the same quality,
I know he has direct 12-volt ones. I'm not sure if he has lower voltage ones or not.
Don't remember. And they're asking, do we know who makes the beef tube servos?
Yeah, I have no clue.
Tubes, I'm guessing. I've heard of beef tube manufactured for brass parts, and
Yeah, I hadn't heard about servos.
mm-mm.
I'm going to say axle housing stiffeners.
Right. Internals.
Other brands that I guess we hardly ever talk about. One of them is Exotech. I think it's Exotech. It's like a blue. They all come in. It's a blue servo. Exotech RC, and then another brand that they're really well, and of course there's a big opinion of this brand, but Tekin. So Tekin, always has made mortars and ESCs, and they also started making servos. I saw one the other day, and it was awesome, and pricey too. I was reading the specs on that, and oh boy, it's up there. And yes, Brian Marks, that's Protec. Sorry, yes, Protec servo. Not what did I say? Exotech. Yeah, Protec.
Mhm.
Sorry.
Sean's wondering how many RTRs people own. He says he has one.
Or actually,
More
I
than
said
one.
4, and I think 5 actually is the right is actually right.
I think I should say probably like 10 of them, maybe 10, 15 of them are kits, and then the rest are just ready to run.
Yeah, I only got a couple kits. The rest are ready to run.
I don't have no kits. I just got 2 ready to run.
Let's see here. Total
Home
of
solid.
3.
Sweet.
But I've replaced about everything on them, so
I personally, I have all my rigs. Like, so I guess it's been more than 4 or 5. Most of my rigs started out as ready to runs, except for one rig, my comp rig that I built for competition. I preferably like to start with a ready to run. That's what I've come to realize, and then just modify it, add what I want to it as I go. I know a lot of people like to build their rigs and just start from scratch and build it what they want, and that's great. I got nothing against it. But for me, I don't know. I seem to just like ready to run, get it, play with it, figure out what I don't like or whatever, and adjust from there. I tend to that's what I like.
It's a cheaper route to go. You're not spending money on parts you're not going to use, or that might not work for you. Or...
And I don't have. I hate to say it. Like, I enjoy working on my rigs. Like, I get my ready to runs, and okay, I got to put a servo in it, or I got to place a drive shaft, or whatever. I enjoy all that. When I built my comp rig, I mean, I enjoyed the learning experience I got from it, but it was also, I was a little impatient with like waiting on, okay, I got to get a different set of links because this isn't going to sit the way I want it to sit. So I got to order a set of links that's going to sit there useless. Like, that was the hard part for me. That was difficult. Maybe I should have planned better, maybe, and maybe that wouldn't have been the issue. But I don't know. I like the ready to runs.
It's definitely nice to just be able to
yeah,
buy
and actually
specific parts. Go ahead, Batch Boy.
I was gonna say, I'm in the same perspective. I'm ready to run. You just get it out of the box, start driving it. Start having a feeling how well it performs, and from there, you just start upgrading as you go. I understand that going through the route of just building your own, start as a kit, but by the end of the day, you wind up spending a lot more money, putting stuff of your liking on a kit than on a ready to run. Because I'll give you a perfect example, and I'm going to bring up my TRX4s. Okay, so my TRX4s, okay, I didn't even use it right out of the box. I just immediately upgraded it, and I gotta admit, man, some of those upgrades, I think that they were useless because it does so well. So you get to the point where there is a point, and there should be a limit, where you say, you know what, that enough is enough. Because when you over upgrade things, that's when you start having issues. I don't know if anybody here, has had any issues of overbuilding, things.
I was watching a video.
And
Somebody
another
said
vehicle that
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Kagan. No, go ahead.
I was just saying somebody was built a Wraith, put all aluminum parts on it, and now he's got it all back to stock with the plastic parts and stuff on it because he kept breaking stuff. He said now that it's all back to plastic, he doesn't break things.
Exactly. See, yeah,
Heard
exactly.
that a few times from people.
So there's got to be a limit, okay? So by the end of the day, a ready to run is pretty much slap a battery on there. Let's see how well it performs. What is it that you do on the trail? Really, and then from there you just start, building the vehicle, to your liking, to that performance that you wanted it to be. Because and again, not everybody's the same. Okay, so yeah, ready to run is also good, but then again, the kit could also be good, and of course, you can put your parts here and there of your own liking, but it's gonna take you a lot more money in the long run. Why? Because let's say you wanted to experience a new servo or a new mortar or an ESC. You don't like them, well, guess what? You're gonna have to buy another one. So that all adds up, And
Generally,
ready
you're
to
not paying
run, of
much
course,
for
yeah. So
electronics.
first, yeah. So and everything is just there. So if something burns, well, you just replace it. See what I mean? So yeah, that's my take.
It's good if kits have hopped up parts too. Sometimes you get a little bit better parts in the kit. If you were to put RTR electronics in it, you wouldn't expend as much as if you were to put high-end electronics in it. You know what I mean? Just stay with what you need to get it to run. You don't need a Mamba X. You can just go with a 1080.
Look, in
Kevin
quality
Gibbs.
perspective. Okay, so go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, Kevin Gibbs saying RTR is a great way for people to learn how to work on them as well. Kits can be intimidating.
That's true.
Fixing as it breaks isn't too bad. And I agree with every part of what he just said right there. Completely agree, especially for newer people getting into RC. I would agree. And I do think that, if you're into competition crawling, I competed my first year with a original Gen 8, just adding a few, mods to it and competing. And I do see where building a custom rig for competition is like the better way to go for competition. To get it, size you need it, to perform the way you need it. So I agree with that part. But if you're trailing, general crawling and stuff, you don't need to build a special rig unless you're doing something like, say, what Sean does, and builds these beautiful scale rigs, and that's just a different level of RCing, in my personal opinion.
I still got the same electronics, the original electronics on my two rigs, other than the servo and the motor, but they haven't failed. When they fail, I'll change them.
Nice.
Hey, John, can you highlight Kevin Gibbs' comment again, where it says kids can be intimidating?
Yeah.
There is I guess here's some advice. When you see a kit and it appears to be intimidating, I'll tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, don't let that kit intimidate you. Okay, why? Because we live in a modern world. We live in a world where you see the kit and you have that interest, but you don't want to buy it just then, but you're considering it. Go home, do your homework, research it, and trust me, in the world of YouTube, you will find a channel that has, upgraded, that has fixed it, that has, rant about the manual, whatever. Even if you go on, not even YouTube, but if you go onto Google, you will find information on the kit that you're trying to build. Now, once you gather that information, once you have that manual in front of you, it'll be easier, for you to, to start building, because you now you have kind of an idea what you're getting into. So no, man, intimidation, that is the last word you might want to think of. Just say, I like the kit, I'm not ready to build it yet. Maybe you need to get ready, to see what you're getting into. And of course, if you do your research and if you start seeing all these things, then that's when you actually consider. You can say, well, is this kit for me or it ain't? So maybe you can say otherwise, what, no, it's not for me, and then maybe just pick another one. But that's just some advice I can give you guys. So
There's different levels of kits out there, and ability wise, Tamiya has different levels.
Yes.
For instance.
Yes, example, like John Martin. I built a Hornet recently. Okay, that thing, it looked so easy to build. Okay, I don't know if John Martin can actually say yes or agree with me.
I'm not building it.
Yeah, man. Oh no.
He's just doing the body and stuff.
So
And then
I'm
something
doing
off.
I'm doing the painting and body work, and then it's going off to Mr. Kelman to take care of the rest.
To assemble.
so he's gonna assemble it. Okay.
Yeah, he Tank actually sent me a picture of SAG RC. He did a Tamiya kit recently and put light buckets and lights on it. And Tank just jokingly said, "Hey, you know what? Send this to Brad and tell him it's his kit." So of course, you know, I had to. Yeah, wouldn't you know? About 30 seconds after I sent that to him, you didn't build. My phone's ringing. You didn't build that kit, did you? I wanted to do that. I go, it's
Is
not
that
your
right? Wow.
Oh, like I said, it was just funny, man. It was just a good old hey, let's josh with him and screw with him a little bit here. And
So he got
you know
mad
how
because
excited
he was
he
under the
gets.
impression that you built it.
Well, yeah, I said him, I go, I got the body done and I got bored. How do you like your rig?
I'm gonna go bash it. I'll send it to you.
So I kind of asked for it, but thinking to myself, yep, thanks Frank for sending me this. I'm now getting myself into trouble.
Brandon Timlin's asking if anyone knows if Sparks is done selling his rigs. I'm not sure. I think he was putting up groups of them. He had quite a few of them he wanted to sell, and he was just putting them up on eBay. I'm not
So
sure.
I wanted to touch on what Sean was
I don't know if
talking
he's gonna
about,
be persistent. You know.
about going
Sure,
to
sure.
comps that most people turned into D bags. And I've been hearing this a fair amount. And even here, he's like, it's like going to a professional track anymore, being ridiculed when you don't understand something. And I've heard very similar comments. And I have to say, I guess I'm lucky where I'm at. Just 2 years ago, I went to my first comp and I was scared, so to speak. I say scared, nervous,
Intimidated,
what am I going to know, not know, da, da, da. And, I've been going to comps this location with these group of people basically for 2 years. And even the last time I was there, we had a new person, a female there that had never comped before there. And thankfully the group that where I comp at, they do a good job of, trying to welcome new people and, give advice, team them up with somebody that, has a clue what they're doing so they can learn from, and, people giving as much advice as possible. And I think it's awesome. But I've heard so many stories like these comments at places, and I'm not saying it's the truth, but we don't do Sorka. We use a few Sorka rules, but generally speaking, we're not Sorka. And I feel like where I've heard this stuff from is where all the Sorka, places that seem to follow Sorka seems to be, that's where all the ES comes in almost. What I feel like, and that might be wrong of me to think that, but that's what I feel.
I can see it. I have been looking at like belly draggers and crawlers that can crawl straight up rocks with carbon fiber chassis and everything. Pretty sweet.
Yep.
Zero
Now, here's-
scale factor, but
To add to your point there, even though it wasn't crawling, last night at our race, we introduced a brand new class and had 9 new drivers driving in a class, and they were all buddies. They race lawnmowers together, and they stopped by and seen us 2 weeks ago driving and go, "Hey, can we get into this?" And started talking, and yeah, we had 9 new racers last night at the track, sitting around 3 or 4 of us other guys, and we were like, "Oh, how do I do this?" And we're like handing them tools and telling them what they needed to set up or change or fix, or
just like open
That's what-
class or something. What did you call it?
it's the Mud Boss is the modified,
Okay.
but it's a stock 12 turn.
Oh, nice.
So it comes right out of the box, and all you got to do is take off the front body post, take the bumper off, and put the front body post on and the body, and go.
That's
Man,
cool.
them guys broke some bodies last night.
But I feel like you know, it doesn't matter if it's crawling, if it's racing, you know, whatever. You know, encouraging the new people to come in only, in my opinion, only betters the local,
Oh, yeah.
you know, scene. I mean, that's more cars being sold that, you know, supports your local hobby stores or even your online hobby stores. You know, more competition to me is fun. You know, new blood. In fact, how we do it in our area, if you run class two, like I'm in what's called class two sport, if you win the winter series, which we just finished, then you get bumped up to class two pro. So you move into a different class of people, and then you got to, of course, you got to get better because now you're going to compete against really, really good people. And
That's cool.
as long as we keep bringing people in, then we have people to fill in the people that move up. You know, like it's in everybody's best interest to do that.
True.
You know,
Developing talent. Yeah.
yeah, developing talent. You know, more people. You know, I mean, to go against. It can. I'm sure for you that race, it probably sometimes gets boring if you're racing against the same people all the time, especially if it's the same three people that are, you know, maybe equally matched or maybe not. You know, it's nice to have new blood, right?
Oh yeah, like
Yep.
like I said last, and I've actually started to build a car for that class.
Nice.
I'm thinking to myself, okay, yeah, this body is going to be automatically shoe good, and I don't care about weight.
Yeah, right. It's gonna be a tank.
Yeah.
Let's go.
But going back to what something Kevin said is you got to keep it fun, and absolutely, I mean, you know, where I
Yes.
go, we rag on each other, you know, joke on each other, you know, during competition, you know, because typically I might be the trail boss for one of the guys that maybe I'm going against or one of the pro guys. And, you know, we sit there and BS with each other and, you know, make fun of each other when we do stupid stuff and, you know, just have fun.
Yeah. And also, you know, for people that are barely coming into the hobby, I do understand what they mean about keeping it basic, okay, and fun. Some people, yeah, they take it too literate. You know, they take it to a point where, you know, they even get offensive. Man, you know, it is best when you actually talk to someone. Just keep it basic. You know, just keep the informational understandable so you know the person can understand and just have fun. You know, that's all. That's what it's all about, really.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because like I can tell you, you know, when I was a rookie, you know, coming into the hobby. So I started the hobby around, I would say 2012, around there, and I had little to no knowledge, you know, with lipo batteries. Okay, just like everybody else here, everybody learned the hard way. Well, personally, me, right? I learned the hard way, you know, with lipo batteries. Okay, the first lipo battery that I bought, unfortunately, I left it plugged in, and I think I used the truck, and then something broke on the truck. It wasn't, you know, motor or ESC related. It was just, you know, a piece. I don't remember what it was exactly, but I went to my local hobby shop, and as soon as we, you know, took off the Lexan body, you know, one of the techs there said, "Hey, man, just so you know, you never leave, you know, lipo batteries plugged in." So
Oh,
of
I mean,
course, you know, just my curiosity, I started, you know, asking all these questions and this and that, and you know, that's where when I became more knowledgeable, you know, with lipo batteries. Okay? And thanks to my local hobby shop, that they kept it so basic, okay, for me to understand. You know, that's what made me say, okay, well, that's cool, you know, because yeah, there's other people that, you know, just want to take it, you know, I guess the rude way or the mean way. I could have literally just been told,
a
"Hey
little,
man, you're
yeah.
stupid. You just lost your," you know, and I would say, "Well, hey man, I'm a newbie, right?" So when you see somebody that that you see that they're new to the hobby, this and that, just just talk to them like in a very basic way. Also, don't. Another thing that I also see is don't over talk to the person. See that he's not knowledgeable enough, and say, well, you're doing this and that wrong, and then that also discourages people. But just by the end of the day, man, just keep it basic and understandable. So.
Yep. Agree.
So, yeah.
AZ Froggies, good night. Thanks for stopping in.
See you later, Brett.
Later, Brett.
Yeah,
See you,
man.
man. Thanks.
Yeah, my buddy Cody, Code Red RC, he's gonna buy a Holmes Hobby motor. I told him, don't get one off Amazon. Go to Holmes Hobby website, man.
Yeah, you might get it.
I got burned off Amazon.
A few knockoffs.
And there's a few places you can buy from. Dixieland RC, that sells true Holmes Hobby motors. There's a few places that you
JJ
can also
Customs. Yeah.
Yep.
Who else? Dixieland and who else?
JJ Customs.
JJ Customs. Okay.
Yeah, probably problem with Amazon is who knows where it's coming from.
Yeah, I think I got burnt on that one.
I've heard of somebody getting they don't remember where they got it from, but it was locked up right from the factory, seized right up.
Yeah. I've heard eBay too, same thing.
Oh boy.
Get it too, so gotta be careful.
Well, there's counterfeit everything out there nowadays, so
Absolutely. So Kevin, and you need to go make a stop for us.
right.
Sweet.
Go over and crawl at his house.
So,
Yeah,
gentlemen.
exactly.
So,
Yeah.
gentlemen, briefly, can we just name things not to do on a lipo battery? Just random things. Can we just tell our audience? So one thing for me, I just mentioned it, is never leave the battery plugged in. Okay, I'll just re-say it again. And then what was your, Kagan?
Take it past the lipo warning, down past your shut off, where it's not going to be able to recharge it to normal levels.
Yes, the way I would say is never drain your battery all the way down to like 0 or 5 or 10%.
Yep, set your lipo cutoffs.
Yeah, or use an ESC that has lipo cutoff, and not use it on an ESC that doesn't.
Or one of those lipo alarms or something.
Yep. I would also say don't charge it up and then let it sit for 2 months. Storage charge it.
Yes, never charge your batteries at 100%. If you're not gonna use them, no, never charge your batteries fully at 100%. That's when you start getting to puff up and stuff. Yeah, and that leads right there.
Days that way. Or some people say a couple weeks even, I guess, but better off not.
Yeah.
Never leave the room
When they're charging. Good call. Even if it's one of those live chargers that tells your phone that it's charging properly, it doesn't tell it it's on fire.
I have to say that's one thing I'm bad at. When I do charge mine, I don't stay in the same room with them. I mean, I have them in, a lipo bag or whatever, but I do leave them. But me, typically, if I charge one, I'm going to usually if I'm charging it, I'm using it that day or the next day. Sometimes I will let it sit 2 or 3 days, but after 2 or 3 days in my head, I'm starting to think, okay, I'm going to kill this battery. I need to drain it and put it to, the balance or a storage charge thing.
Yeah, that sure would suck if you get a little alert on your phone, your lipo's on fire.
Remember, you got a battery charger.
And gentlemen, I just wanted to. No, go ahead, John.
There's only one place I ever leave a battery charging. And it's when I'm at the racetrack. It's because I am charging it and I'm probably in the next race. And usually in the pits, there's at least one person, if that thing was to light up, They know
to do
what to
that.
do.
Right. It's not unmonitored.
So what's a good thing to put it out? You put it out with
Sand.
regular, you know,
But sand's the best
you
thing.
don't
Just
put
to
water on it, right?
take the oxygen
No.
away from it.
No, never water.
No, water. No, because you'll make it worse.
Yeah.
I think there's a chemical fire extinguisher.
Yeah, there's a
Pretty good.
chemical.
That's what I was
The-
thinking. Chemical fire.
The ABC ones, or another thing to do is just, if you, depending on where you are, like salt. You dump
Sand.
salt on sometimes on fires, and
That just takes
Put
the
'em out.
oxygen away from it. Yeah.
Yep.
Smother a fire.
I mean, if it's possible, which
And then,
if you're worried about it, it might not be possible. But if it's possible, just let it burn out. Obviously, if it's in your
I
house,
guess you put it in a bag. It's all right.
Start your camera up first and then let it burn out.
start your camera.
probably last night at the track I was at, they'd probably grab it out of as I pit upstairs, I'd probably grab it from there and run to the door and flip it out onto the track and let it burn on the dirt track.
Right. Someplace safe.
Jesus Christ.
So don't
Sean.
listen to Sean's RC adventures when it comes to lipo safety. Okay, if you're listening to this tonight, do not listen to this person.
He's like Luck of the Irish. Lipo.
Yeah.
And then another thing I would like to talk about is, the LiPo batteries. Okay, a lot of people think that a LiPo battery will be violent anytime, all the time. No, incorrect. A LiPo battery would only be violent when it's fully charged or 50% plus. Okay, a LiPo battery will not be as violent if it's under the voltage, especially on the voltage cutoff. Okay, if you have a battery that's and I always talk percentages because that's how I check my LiPo batteries.
Mhm.
Because I use a high-tech LiPo checker. But yeah, when it's under 20% or 15%, if you poke a hole on one or incidentally puncture it, it will not be as violent as a LiPo battery that is fully charged 100%. Now that is extremely violent. That would actually catch fire, puff up, smoke up, fire, everything, total chaos. But when it's lower than what the current should be, no. So that is something that, because I've heard people freak out like, oh, hey, it's a LiPo battery. Like, well, is it fully charged? No, there's nothing to worry about. So the more you know, I guess.
I've heard people trying to make them when they're trying to get rid of them or something and putting a nail through it or something, and it's probably most of the way discharged, so nothing really spectacular happens.
That brings up since we're talking about lipos and since,
Exactly. Exactly.
you just mentioned
If it's at
mentioned,
0 or it's at 5, you're.
what do y'all do to discharge? Or I say,
What was that?
what do y'all do? What do you guys do with your lipos? Like a bad lipo, okay, it's bad. You want to get rid of it. What do you do with it?
Cut the
Have you-
leads
You
off,
cut off
throw it in
your-
salt
your-
water, and let
your
it sit
connection.
for about a week.
That's the best way.
Yep.
I think I've heard people say. Get some pretty salty water, cut the leads off, and toss it in. Let it discharge, and then you can get rid of it safely. Home Depot, you can throw it right in the garbage, supposedly, because the power's gone in it.
Yeah, I
Exactly, or
take
just
it to a
take it to your
shooting
local
range.
battery recycle.
That's
Yeah,
better,
don't-
yeah.
A hobby shop.
Yeah, that
takes
too.
them.
Take it to a shooting range, Brian says. So I've only gotten rid of 2 so far, and I did some research, on this, because I was sort of scared. Like I say, scared, I didn't want to screw up, I guess you could say.
Concern
and
more
so-
than anything.
Yeah, concerned is probably the best way to put it. What I ended up doing with the 2 that I've gotten rid of so far is drained them down, and I actually made a connector from a Dean's connector and hooked up a light bulb, like a car light bulb, like a tail light, two
Mhm.
leads, and I plug it in
12
there, and I let it sit there for days, and is usually what it takes, and let it drain until that light doesn't light up anymore. And then when that happens, I cut the Dean's connector off, strip the wires, tie them together, like put the positive and the negative together, and tape it up, seal it up, and then I toss it in the garbage. Like normal. Because at that point, it's completely drained. Like obviously, I've heard of the water deal and being able to do that, and basically it's doing the same thing. It's draining, you're draining all the power out of it, and then you can safely get rid of it. So,
Javier's taking off.
Yep.
Javier, have a good one. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, you can take from Trans RC Adventures. You can take any advice except LiPo batteries, man. You're hearing it from me.
And agree. Prayers for Steve-O.
Yes, man. Prayers for Steve OD from the 313. Hopefully, he's fighting that disease, man. You know, hopefully he gets better. He gets well, and hopefully he gets well enough, you know, to actually, you know, start at least, you know, with his Friday night live stream.
Yeah,
I
we
missed those
definitely miss
actually.
him.
You know, I gotta say,
Definitely.
you know, so.
Every Friday night I think about it.
Yeah. Miss him.
John says, I don't even clean my rigs unless they need to be worked on.
No. Oh no, man. That's Sean, man. I gotta say.
I think he does that so he has a reason to work on them because they eventually lock up on him. So he has to work. I'm joking. Yeah, I can't stand it. Of
Do
course,
you guys agree with Sean said? I mean, you don't clean.
I use
No,
an air compressor and blow them off.
it depends on the severity for me. Like one, my rigs all come inside, and my hobby room is inside, so I don't like to bring my rigs in, you know, covered in dirt that's gonna, you know, get on the floor, and I have to, you know, vacuum because I hate the vacuum as it is, you know. So, you know, if it's just like sand, dirt type stuff, then usually I've got a big brush, and I'll usually like, you know, try to brush it off. Now, if it's because maybe it's wet dirt or something like that, or I took like my Max to the beach or something, I'll soak it, you know, take the water hose to it, rinse it off, and then I'll take the air hose to it and dry it off. And I even have some of that, what's it called, that spray, that cow something, you know, spray that's
Cal RC.
yes, and that stuff works really good.
Kaboom.
So what it's called, I think.
Kaboom. He's saying that green or purple stuff. Kaboom.
But that it works really, really well. Like my Gen 8 original, I coated it really good with that, and now when I got to clean it off, if I use the water on it, like it almost repels the water to a certain degree. So that stuff works really, really good, and I've done that with my Max many times. I'll wash it off, air dry it, and let it, you know, I'll blow it off, let it sit, and then I'll coat it with that stuff, and that's good. So no, I don't agree with Kevin. I like to clean mine off. My wheels particularly, like even though they're hanging up and not on their wheels, I take the wheels off, take them to the sink, and wash them by hand in the sink and let them dry. I guess a pet peeve.
I'm almost as extreme as you. I like to clean my rigs up.
Thank you. Yeah, there'll be more videos coming up. Like I said, I've got probably another 8 or 9 videos from UST I got to finish editing.
Awesome. Cool. Keep them coming, man.
So,
Heck yeah.
yeah, I'm working on Trail 4, actually. I should have it finished tomorrow. And there was 10 trails, basically. So I'm on number 4. So maybe not quite 8.
Oh wow.
Did you do
From
all
4 to
10?
10, yeah, it seems a lot.
Yes. Now, out of that 10, I should say, so there was one of those trails was a hill climb, which wasn't really a trail, but a hill climb. and I did everything. And then one of the trails was the 124 scale, which I did obviously as well. So I did every
Oh,
trail
really?
that they had. I did do every trail. I did every trail last year, but the hill climb. So I made sure to do the hill climb this year. So I did do everything, and actually I did Trail 3 twice, and it was one of the longer trails.
Awesome. Awesome, man. Well, looking forward to your vids.
Yep. Kevin says he keeps his rigs spotless now. Replacing bearings taught me a lesson.
Yep. Especially if you soak them in water. Those
Mhm.
bearings would hydrolock completely.
Yes.
I don't know anything about that.
Oh, no?
That's why I have an SMG-10 that needs a complete bearing kit job done to it.
How long have you had that?
Yeah.
I got it last year.
At Axial Fest right around there, right?
Yeah, just before Axial Fest, because they brought it to Axial Fest. Yeah.
It's the green one or the 10 one? I forget.
It's,
Grave Digger, right?
no, we're talking the Grave Digger.
Oh, great. Oh, I thought it was your crawler.
Yeah, he's got the
No.
green Ford.
No, I had it hooked onto my backpack, and we got out to the back area there where they had a crawler comp going on, and I'm looking around, and no one was going through this mud pit, so I decided, okay, I'm going to fire up the Grave Digger, and I just sent the Grave Digger through this mud pit. The guy who was judging the thing goes, we're in the middle of a competition right now. You probably shouldn't have done that, but I go, I'm going to let you do it just because I wanted to see it.
Nice.
Yeah, I got a video of that. And Tony comes up. I didn't know you were going to send it.
I think I remember he said he would have videoed it. Yeah.
Well, we are coming up on 2.5 hours. Not our longest,
Yeah,
but
we went overtime.
still a pretty good one. So, I'll probably say we'll try to wrap it up here in the next few minutes. We ain't got to be on the dot, but we'll
Sweet.
we can go around if
And
anybody's
also,
got anything to say, any comments they want to say, or any topics they want to hit on real
yeah,
quick. We can do that.
Before we end the stream, I just want to say, man, I highly appreciate you stepping up the plate whenever I just can't host.
Yep.
And yeah, thanks for the help, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for having the show on.
You're welcome. And like I said before, I appreciate the opportunity as well. So
It's nice to have something Saturday
All
nights,
right.
guys.
yep, absolutely agree. Look forward to it. So I've learned a lot from doing it, and it's awesome.
That's a great
Johnson's
experience, right?
Coral or something.
It seems like it was a good idea too. I know when you reached out to me today, I know you weren't expecting a power outage. So,
No, yeah. It's because I was at work, and I literally saw what we had to do, and I said, well, because there was some stuff that was still pending, so I said, not risking. That's why I asked if you can have joined, but yeah, the power outages was just uncalled for.
yeah,
But it's back. So.
Yeah, it's
Which
good
is
that
good.
it came back on. Yep.
Sure.
I just want to kind of josh and poke at you. Bastard, what are you paying electric bill? The lights will go off.
Well,
If you're
it
staying for
was
cheap power.
uncalled for, man. Yeah, it was uncalled for, man. I didn't say I didn't call the electric company. Hey, I want to have a no. You know, it just happened.
When our power goes out, we call our power company to find out like how many people are in the outage and to report that it's out and how long it might be. Usually it's about half the time they estimate, but
And I was saying the power company out here, you can go right to their app and
nice.
and hit report, and it'll report from your address because they've used your cell phone number, and then there's an outage map, and it'll tell you the area.
I'll have to look for something like that. It'd be handier, yeah.
Listen, I don't know. I don't know if Niagara Mohawk does that. You guys are Nimo, right?
Nice egg.
Oh, nice back.
Nimo's near me, but
Yeah, well, I know Nimo's in New York or most of New York.
Yep.
Our we have FPL, and you can do it through the website, basically. But the same thing as he was just saying. You know, you can see the coverage map and tell you how many people's affected and all that. So.
Yeah, like I said, with ours, it's an even nice thing is you can actually have them notify you when your power's back on.
Oh, bonus.
So I've been at work and one thing I know I'm getting a phone call going, okay, your power is back on.
Good deal.
But you know what sucks? Because this happened to a neighbor is when they notify you that your power's back on, but it really isn't back on.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm flicking the switch and no power.
Yeah.
Well, technically, I don't have. Well, I don't know if I have that fancy stuff, but mainly what I do if I know I'm out of power, I just check the neighborhood. If I see all of the lights out, like okay, yeah, there's an outage. If I see other houses with lights on, then I just go straight to the breaker.
Right, it's your
And
problem.
of course, probably I had a short somewhere, but it hardly happens, right? But yeah, lights went off. I went outside.
When my power
and even
goes
the
out.
light bulb.
Yeah,
My power goes
that's
out, I
another
have to
thing.
wake the guinea pig up.
That's another thing. If I want to know if the power's out and I got my main breaker off, because as soon as it goes out, I flip the main off if I'm home. I go outside to have one of these or something. I just listen for the neighborhood because my neighbor next door's got the whole house
Generator.
generator. And if that's not on, it means I got power.
Yep, true. He's already that's automatic transfer switch, so it just does it automatically, probably.
Yep.
Yeah.
So usually what I do is when the power goes out is I go to our Facebook page for my neighborhood and read the 37 posts that's been made about, did your power just go out? Did your power just go out? And the same people, or all these people making a new post to say the same thing, and then sit there and just watch the entertainment while waiting for the power to come back on.
Yeah.
But maybe Texas will get on the grid.
Right.
I told you I have to wake my guinea pig up when my power goes out. Guinea pig.
Looking good.
No doubt.
There it is, man.
Yep. So good.
We're both in
it looks sort of funny car-ish, a little bit like a funny car in a way when you hold it where we see it from the front. It's got a funny car look to it. Yeah.
I wonder if a 4.5 turn will fit in it.
Right.
Nitro engine.
Yeah.
Hey, John Martin.
Yes.
I do remember that Brett Kelman also requested actual bearings instead of bushings, right? Did you get those bearings?
Yes.
For him?
I think you might have the kit already, right?
Yes, I have them. They're in the kit already, along with the servo.
Nice.
So it's all good.
Yeah,
to go,
that was all ordered together.
Nice. Well, KBRC, you got anything? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. KBRC, Keith.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you if you had anything you wanted to say before we sign off.
I just appreciate you guys letting me chat with you. I look forward to it. And have fun this weekend.
Joe Critter says John Martin, make sure you don't forget to hide the secret sticker.
Can I show him, John? Down a bit, right? It's up by the hood. There you go.
Yep, he's got it.
Hey.
It's nice and
Incognito.
protected.
I told him I was
Right.
tagging it. And then I put it under shoe goo and drywall mesh. So
It's there.
have fun trying to get that off.
Yep.
Inaccessible.
The only way that sticker's disappearing is the body gets totally trashed.
Right.
But Green Frog, you got anything?
Appreciate the hangout.
Absolutely.
It was cool having a topic to chat about too.
Absolutely. Definitely. And I'm gonna just say thanks for everybody that joined us tonight. Appreciate it. Thanks to Gabe for allowing me to host for him when he can't. I've enjoyed it. And Gabe, I'm gonna let you take over and close us out.
All right, yeah, appreciate it, my friend. And again, I highly appreciate you stepping up to plate whenever I just can't host. Okay, and ladies and gentlemen, it's not an excuse. It's just, hey, man, it's life. Okay, I'm busy here and there. That's why John mentioned that, like, hey, Gabriel, do you mind if I step in and whenever you're not available? Like, yeah, of course. So, and of course he's enjoying it. So that's what counts. Me the most as well. So. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you guys had a great time here with us. Hopefully what we mentioned, what we said, it was informational or, it was knowledgeable, whatever you want to put it. But yeah, stick with us for next week. Next week we will have another live stream, hopefully. If I'm not absent or if John Martin, is also available. We'll see. But yeah, until then. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Good.